You know what time it is. It's time to get sauced up with another Super Saiyan Jutsu reaction. And we are checking out the official trailer of the One Piece live action show. This is a special day. Now, I know a lot of you have asked me about my opinions about One Piece going live action, anime and live action as a whole. And that's a whole other a whole other topic of a video. However, I'm very curious to see how they adapt One Piece, because I think some things are easily adaptable. There are going to be some other things that are going to be very difficult to adapt, and depending on the budget, the CGI could look a little cheesy. So it really depends on I don't know what kind of balance they're going for. And is this supposed to be an exact retelling or an Elseworld type of story of One Piece, where we're not doing the same exact setup, the same exact stories? You know what I'm saying? Maybe they have like a similar background of each character, but they meet in a very different manner, right? Because of just expediting the process. We can't have an 1,000+ episode Netflix series. It just won't work that way. So I'm very excited. Let's get into this. We'll watch it. We'll analyze it, figure out what this means for anime as a whole going live action. Let's get this thing moving. Okay.
Well, fame, power.
Okay. Gold D. Roger.
And everything this world has to offer. Free yourselves. Take to the seas. My treasure is yours to find.
So what do you say? Are you with me?
Get out of here.
Mutiny. Why would anyone want to be a pirate? It's just the best thing there is. Wind in your back.
Okay.
Salty seer. Loyal crew by your side.
All right.
It's ready!
What is it?
Or Jolly Roger. We are the Straw Hat crew. We're heading up to the Grand Line.
Okay.
A treacherous stretch of ocean with bigger islands, bigger pirates.
And that's where we're gonna find the One Piece.
You've been making enemies everywhere we go.
Okay.
Chop, chop!
See, Buggy. Okay, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it.
Luffy, they are hunting you.
Guys, save your ass. Well, I saved your ass.
Okay.
You'll have to excuse them. They're idiots.
This crew, our crew, can handle anything.
Okay.
I'll do you the kindness
Arlong?
of killing you all together.
Okay.
You're my captain from now until the end.
Sick. Oh, you know that
I'm
moment.
gonna kick your ass because no one messes with my friends.
Okay, Mihan. Save that go. Okay.
What's so special about you?
Hey.
I'm Monkey D. Luffy. And I'm gonna be king of the pirates. I didn't know there were so many pirates. It's terrible.
Hey.
You know, right? Where's my face?
Okay. All right. All right. Okay. There's some good in here. There's also some questionable. I don't think there's any bad. So let's start with that. I don't see anything that's like inherently bad that we're looking at. Okay, so what I did notice quite a bit, and a lot of this is because of anime, right? And I'll say this by this. Anime has a very unique way of showcasing characters in moments that aren't actually possible in cinema. What does that mean? This, for instance, is a wide angle lens, right, that we have. It's very wide, it's up close to him, you still see people behind him, it's wide. Usually in animes, you have these wide shots that go into really tight shots. You actually can't do that in real life. Optics don't work that way. So having some of these crazy, ridiculous, dramatic wide shots and it like zooms out like in one take, like you can't actually do that with optics. So some of the fisheye shots just look a little, they look cool, but you could tell like it doesn't really, like the one where they were standing on top of this section here.
We are.
I just want to, this part right here. So this is like an anime type of shot, right? That they wanted to get of the crew, right? So it looks cool. It's a cool shot, but it doesn't, I know what they were trying to do with the dramatic angle of it. Like it's almost like a Dutch angle with the wide, but I know the angle of what they're trying to do from the anime, where it's really dramatic, but the more wide you go, the more distorted the characters get in real life. So you can't, it's not like there's certain things that just look a little interesting. It doesn't mean it's bad. It's just something that I'm observing. As far as the characters go, the characters look cool. It's borderline cosplay though. Like for instance, Mihawk's sword here. This part right here doesn't look like a sword. Like that looks like foam. You know what I'm saying? Like that doesn't even look like metal. It looks like foam. So it's this type of thing where it's how do we make a sword look like a real sword and not cosplay weapons? This again is where I was saying of the adaptation of things, where some things need to be adapted in a way to where it plays homage to something, but isn't an exact replica type vibe or something really reminiscent of it to where it looks like cosplay, because it doesn't look real. Like that doesn't even look like a sharp blade. You know what I'm saying? It looks like, you know, does that make sense? And again, not bad, just one of those things where it's like, this is the challenge in adapting anime is this stuff where it's like certain things could be made out of real metal or real wood, or more of a traditional sized weapon. But I know they're trying to go for the anime ridiculousness because One Piece is ridiculous. So you have to give it credit of it living up to the ridiculousness. Like it has to play into that. Some things can't be ridiculous and other things can't not be ridiculous. Then it doesn't match. So they're going all in, which I'm great. I'm happy that they're doing it because they have to. You have to go full crazy with One Piece. But again, I still think some of it has a cosplay vibe to it. But it's okay. Maybe it's just because the characters are so ridiculous looking, right? Zoro's character, the actor that plays Zoro, I'm digging. That's cool. Buggy, cool. It's this part, remember I was saying with the CG stuff, the powers could get a little wonky depending on the budget that was spent on VFX. So the VFX are a tricky one to pull off, to say the least. Like any type of power that you have in One Piece that are a devil fruit ability are going to be a hard play. So yeah, like that just looks really like Disney Channel. You know what I'm saying? Like no disrespect. I know that they're working with whatever budget they're allotted and all of that, but for people to expect a particular look, the budget, you can see where budget had to go. You know what I'm saying? And based off a timeline as well. Yeah, some of these shots are cool. This is the difficult thing for me. Is going to be the fight sequences. Like just this in and of itself, like it's cool. It's cool at best. And again, not to take away from the actors or the stunt team or anything like that, but we're adapting from an anime. So we've seen these characters do the most ridiculous things in 2D. Then we've seen hundreds of action movies, martial arts movies, where the choreography is insane. So when you have these two things to compare it to, and you're saying, okay, this is a anime adaptation, these characters have got to look really sick and competent in what they're doing, the choreography just seems a little bit like this, like the cable work here. It reminds me of like old old martial arts films, like with the cable work, right? Where it's like more fantastical versus this is what the world is. Like, it doesn't look like he's pushing off of these rocks. It just looks like he's moving his feet alongside of, like, it's these things that I'm talking about where it feels like an old martial arts film. Again, some might like the aesthetic. That right there, the physics were just off. At Sanji kicking this dude and coming straight down like that, like, again, the wire work of this just looks, that just looks really, I don't know. I'm not vibing that. Like, him coming in at the rate that he's coming in, kicking this guy, and he just falls into the water like that, like he would fly. Like, and then he falls right there. Like, he would have went off the screen. You know what I'm saying? So just in that shot alone, like that's what I'm talking about, where it's like some of the fight sequence stuff aren't really selling for me. But the set here, the boats, this looks cool. This looks really cool. I'm excited about seeing what the set design actually is with everything. And obviously this taking place in that first arc and Arlong being the big bad. I'm not familiar with the actor, but I like the voice. The prosthetic nose, I'm cool with as well. I'm glad they didn't do a CG vibe. I'm cool with the actors. I'm cool with some of the costuming is cool as well. It doesn't seem too campy. There's a little bit of campiness, but it's, it's just the nature of the costuming, I think, but again, as long as everything is as ridiculous as the next thing, at least it'll feel a little bit more believable. So, Arlong, again, obviously Nami, this scene is obviously iconic. If you've ever seen One Piece, this scene right here with Luffy putting the hat on Nami, when I first saw it in here, I kind of got a little emotional touch, you know what I'm saying? Like that whole section, like I'm getting right now, that section is awesome. That section is really fucking good. And then the fight here, Mihawk, obviously, that's a cool little section for his sword, seeing it there. Obviously, like it just, because that's Shanks. So we have a shot of Shanks, not as saucy in an image yet. We'll have to wait to see what the character brings to the table for Shanks. But, cool shots there. This right here, obviously Mihawk's sword. Again, cool, but I don't know. There's, again, you already know I'm going with it. But we'll continue. Like that actually looks pretty good. Like it's not bad. It's not bad. The lighting helped it a lot, I think. The mood of the space definitely helped hide some of the imperfections for sure. It looks solid though. But yeah, I think a lot of Luffy's stuff though, I would say is a good 7 out of 10. Like we're in a good place. If it does well, obviously Netflix, it's not like a traditional show. Unfortunately, if it has a good viewership rating, I'm not really sure if the budget's increased for the second season of this. I'm not really sure how that works. It's not like traditional TV where, you have people that are watching and you have commercials that are running against it and all that. If it performs well, the budgets get, like, it's not really the same thing. So I'm not really sure how Netflix works with that. But, hopefully it's good and people enjoy it, that they may want to see future stuff. The King of the Pirates, this right here, there's something about him saying it.
Be king of, and I'm gonna be king of the pirates.
It just sounds like he's saying it. Like for those that have seen One Piece, you guys know the conviction in Luffy when he says it. Like when he says, "I'm gonna be the king of the pirates," there's no doubt, right? There's like you could feel it. It's a very different feeling that you get when he says it because he means that shit. Here it just seems like he's saying it, like it doesn't. Maybe it's just out of context. Again, I'm not harping on this at all. We haven't seen the show yet, so maybe the context of this particular thing and him saying this is just in mid-conversation, whatever, and he's not making a statement like a proclamation. Not really sure, but again, I think as a trailer, for us to actually see what it is, what we can expect, if this can be good, then I think there's hope for anime. If this can be good. What does that mean? Well, for me, if this can land anywhere between a 6 and a 7 out of 10, we're in good place. We're in good place. Because I think anywhere 8, 9, 10, you're talking about excellent to perfect, right? Like I doubt it's going to be excellent. If it can be good, we're in a good starting point. You know what I'm saying? Because this is like the first really big anime property to do this, right? Like a series. So with the original writer. So hopefully, I'm keeping my fingers crossed. I know this is a long video, but as an anime fan, as a fan of One Piece is my #1 anime on my top 5, excluding Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball is my favorite of all time, but I don't put that on my top 5 because I'm biased to the series. So it has nothing to do with my top 5 ranking of actual quality, all that, right? So, yeah. Let me know your guys' thoughts. Are you guys excited about One Piece? Are you excited about the series? Do you think it's going to do well? Do you think it's going to flop? I would love to know your guys' thoughts. Are there things that you love in this? Things that you don't like in it? Let us know. Let's chat about it in the comments. Other than that, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.